Hey everyone, I'm Pion and welcome to Project Aura. What is Project Aura, you ask? I like to call it a sci-fi city builder strategy game. It left Steam Early Access a few days ago, and this is what it looks like. So I covered this game back then when it entered Steam Early Access, so a few years ago actually, in the form of a few tutorials. And the reason why I did tutorials was because the game was pretty complex, and it still is. If you're looking for a really complex city builder game or strategy game with a lot of different systems and mechanics, then this might be for you. Overall, what is this about? Well, you're playing post-apocalyptic city building basically. So you have a colony, you start with nothing except your headquarters here, and then you have to build more stuff, get citizens, and build even more buildings and get resources and stuff like that, and then you unlock those other platforms, the outer ring here, and when you unlock those, you can even unlock more stuff like that. And the whole colony is under like a dome that protects you from the climatic problems outside. We're getting some tips here. Well, let's ignore that for a moment. So as I said, you can first have this inner area here available, then you can unlock those, and later you can unlock even more parts. I didn't do that yet though, because that takes a while, and well, I wanted to make this video and I actually don't want to play more of this game. It's not a bad game, but it's pretty crazy. Let's just make an example, shall we? So, okay, basic resource production, right? So to build buildings, you need plastic resources. So we have different resources down here. We have the plastic category, and you need there are three different polymers: the alpha polymer, the beta polymer, and the gamma polymer. And you use those mostly to build buildings. So if we're gonna go here and let's say we want to build a seaweed farm, then we need 600 beta polymer and a few control panels. So the polymer or the plastic polymers are the basic construction materials. So how do you get those? Well, you start out with a hangar. The hangar has a pilot and a director. Every building needs a director. The hangar has a pilot and a blueprint for alpha ships. So basically every building needs blueprints. Well, let's talk about that in a moment. First, let's just say we have a hangar. The hangar has a ship. The ship starts flying out and collecting garbage, basically. There are different blueprints I can select, and if I go for plastic extraction, I get plastic garbage. Yeah, I get garbage. So the airship or the ship flies out and collects garbage. Then it comes back and brings me the garbage, and I take this garbage to my recycling plant, and in the recycling plant I can choose to recycle plastic, and that will consume the plastic garbage and produce plastic conglomerate. I can take that plastic conglomerate and bring it to the plastic factory, which I first will use to sort it. So we consume plastic conglomerate and sort it into alpha conglomerate, beta conglomerate, and gamma conglomerate. Then we use the grinding blueprint to grind the conglomerate into plastic flake. And finally, we use the melting blueprint to take the flakes, or consume the plastic flakes, and transform them into polymer. And that's the basic construction cycle, or for the basic building resources in this game. I think it's pretty crazy. That's like, I don't know, 8 steps or something along those lines. It's and as I said, there are 3 different plastic polymers. Then you can actually transform those plastic polymers into more advanced resources as well. I didn't do that yet. I don't have the building for it yet, but you need those for more complex buildings. And on top of that, you also need like different electronic or metal parts. Metal resources to build your buildings. So, for example, I can also send out the ship to collect metal garbage, and I can bring that to my recycling plant. I'm actually doing this here, and recycle the metal into different things like iron scrap, e-waste, and gadgets, and then I can disassemble the e-waste and collect circuitry and wiring from that, and then I can use the circuitry and wiring, I think I do this over here, to build control panels, and then I can use the control panels to build other things like electronic systems or memory devices. And actually, electronic memory devices are not built from control plans, but electronic systems are. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, there are a lot of different resources that can be transformed into a lot of different other different resources, and yeah, the production cycles are just wow. And that's just the resource management in this game. So I mentioned it earlier, buildings have blueprints. So when I build a recycling plant, I can connect 2 blueprints. I have to craft those blueprints first. In order to get blueprints, I need to research in my tech lab to research different colored documents, and then I can transform those documents into blueprints. That's actually fairly straightforward. It just takes a memory device and a blueprint document to create a blueprint. And then I can take those green blueprints, for example, to create specific blueprints. So, for example, a blueprint, what's this, assembly, I think? Yeah, it's the assembly blueprint or a recycling blueprint. And those blueprints have then different modes you can choose from. So this assembly blueprint can build those different things, and I can choose which one is being used in this recycling plant. And this recycler blueprint can recycle metals, organics, or plastics, and I have to choose that as well. And so I put the blueprints in the building. Those are actually set, like there's no choice really. I can choose not to put the blueprint in, but then it's just not going to do anything. So in order to use the building, I have to put down the building, get the required blueprints, then choose what those blueprints should do. I can switch that whenever I want, obviously. And then put employees in this building as well. Every building needs a director, and every blueprint needs at least 1 worker usually. And sometimes other things as well, like the ship in the Alpha ship mission blueprint, for example. So in the Alpha hangar, we have a blueprint Alpha ship mission, which you can put down here, and that requires a pilot and a ship. And the ship also has a slot for an upgrade thingy, and I connected it with an Alpha radar, which improves the effectiveness of the ship and stuff like that. So now I can choose what I want to extract with this ship, and I will get the resource as mentioned earlier. These blueprints actually feel a little, I'm not sure why they are in the game. They don't really add anything. They're pretty pointless in my opinion. I'm not sure, like they make the production cycle a little bit more complex, obviously, but they don't really fulfill any like, they don't really have a reason to be there. They don't give you any meaningful choices because the blueprints are set for the building. So the only thing you do is you check out which blueprints you require for a building to operate. Then you try to, and then you get your scientists on the right job and create the correct blueprints to build those. But they don't give you extra options because you cannot really choose which blueprint to use, which is a missed opportunity in my opinion. It would be nice if buildings would be more flexible or versatile and could use different blueprints depending on what you prefer for that specific building. That would be interesting, but that's not the case. So blueprints just feel a little bit like an extra layer, but an unnecessary extra layer of complexity at this point. And that's actually kind of a theme, but no, that's not really true. Like, all the other mechanics seem to have a purpose for the most part, but it's just a lot of different mechanics. So this was just the building mechanics and resource production. Okay, so on top of that, we have colonists. So we need people to, well, work in the buildings. You can require people to like from the cryonics room. So there are a lot of people frozen in the command center, and you can request to get a new director, for example. That will cost you a set amount of money. I don't have that right now. Let's actually sell that really quick. There's a market. Yes, you can buy and sell things. That should be, no, is that, no, that's not enough. We have to sell something else. Well, yeah, let's just get rid of some of the organic garbage. That's all of it. Maybe not all of it. Actually, no, wait. We can get rid of some of the seaweed portion. Yeah, that's good. And on the top of that, we get rid of the fertilizer, and that should be enough to recruit a director. So we take the director and we say, or we could choose one of the other proficiencies, and we say, recruit that guy. That costs money, and now he gets unfrozen. And when he is unfrozen, we can actually get him into the colony. He's not there he's not part of the colony yet, but as soon as I press awake, or I directly put him into one of the buildings as a director, that moment he becomes part of the colony. Actually, I have a building down here. Do I have a correct? No, this has a director as well already. Okay, fine. So let's just let him sit there. Doesn't hurt, he doesn't eat anything there, so that's good, because obviously citizens need food. So there's a menu option or mechanic here where you put resources in your larder, and then you take those resources and put them in the menu, and then you activate the menu, and depending on what is on the menu, your citizens get different bonuses or maluses. So you need water, or you need nutrition, and you need hydration. So water gives hydration, obviously. Seaweed portions give nutrition. You can get other food as well if you get the right buildings for that. And on top of that, the food gives morale. And that depends on how many different things you put into the menu. So if you put tomatoes in here as well, for example, then the morale would increase to 3. Or actually, I think 4, because tomatoes give extra morale bonuses as well, because they're like a super delicious food or something, I don't know. So yeah, your citizens require nutrition and hydration. You can see that here as an average for your colony. So you can see they consume 5 hydration and nutrition per cycle, and they right now gain the same amount because my menu is, well, optimized on that, obviously. But we could put in more food, for example, and then we would create more nutrition bonus. Let's not do that. That's a waste of seaweed portions. Okay, so there's that. On top of that, there's entertainment and stuff like that as well. I didn't got there yet. There's more stuff, as you can see here. There's a lot of different things. A lot of different foods as well, which different bonuses and stuff like that. Okay, so that's for food. Well, then we have energy management. So all the buildings require energy. You have different platforms which you can, well, supply with different amount of energy if you want to. So I can reduce the energy for this part of the colony, for example. I'm not sure why I have FPS drops now. I didn't have those earlier. It's a little weird, but right now the game sometimes drops a little bit. Usually it runs perfectly fine, actually. So I can change that, and I can save different presets and switch between them. And, well, yeah, giving the buildings more energy will make them more efficient. And on top of that, I need energy for the dome to keep the dome alive. And I think there are options later to put more power to the dome because of catastrophic events and stuff like that. And yeah, it's more stuff. You can upgrade the generator, and you can put amplifiers in and accumulators, which will increase the power as well. I built some extra buildings here, these with tidal towers, which will give me extra energy as well. So there are a lot of different things here as well. I have no idea what this is doing. There's a shields panel. I have no idea. I don't know. There's more things I didn't covered yet. You don't have to use all the energy all the time. You can store it as well. As you can see, I have batteries here filled up. So I could, for example, go for super production for a while and put energy to max on all the buildings, which will cost me energy, but, well, I use it from the batteries. So that's an option as well. I actually never pressed this menu. I don't know why this is important, but it's probably important at some point as well. There are illnesses and treatments. I never encountered those yet, so I cannot really talk about this. But there, as you can see, there are more things, and there are even more things. I will not talk about everything in detail, obviously. That's usually my goal with the What Is video, is to explain a game throughout, but that's not going to happen in this video, and there are multiple reasons for this. First reason, it would take forever. It would probably create a 2-hour video or something along those lines to talk about all the mechanics in the game in detail, maybe even more. Like, that would be nuts. B, I didn't play the game enough to talk about every mechanic in detail because, well, there is so much. It takes a long time to discover everything. And the third reason is that discovering those things on your own and experimenting with them and figuring out how it works is part of the fun of the game, I think. So people who will enjoy this game, it's a niche game, but the people who will enjoy it will probably enjoy this part as well, like the discovering of new mechanics and figuring out what things do. So yeah, I will not covering everything. I will just give you a short overview to give you an idea how complex this really is. So this is the tech tree. The tech tree is separated into 4 different categories because there's 4 different corporations, and you can unlock different research thingies with all of them. And Yeah, to upgrade something in a test tree, you need innovations. So you go to the tech lab and you produce your documents, which you use to build blueprints. You remember, maybe I mentioned that earlier. And on top of that, you have a chance of creating invention documents, and you use those and the color documents as well. So to unlock technology. So for example, this technology costs 1 invention doc and 1 oh, there's actually special docs. Wait, there's a core docs. They're even more important. Wait, now I'm clicking things I don't want to click. So okay, so a regular thing would require 1 invention doc and 1 yellow document. I actually have those right now, and so I could upgrade something that would unlock another building or something else, or some bonuses, or unlock some other mechanics and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff here as well. I'm actually not sure what this is, but I think you can upgrade some generic thingies as well. Entertainment apparently, so we can unlock music. Music knowledge from the 21st century allows the construction of a canteen producing +1 daily morale for the colony. Great! And then you can level that up apparently as well. It's like 6 levels. Okay, fair enough. Why not? So more things. Then there's the expansion menu. So the expansion menu, as I mentioned earlier, you start with this inner ring, and then you can unlock this outer ring. I unlocked 1 of the platforms so far, which is this one. In order to do so, you also have to upgrade your colony level though. No, I think, do you? I'm not sure. No, I think you need that for the outer ones. I'm not sure. So there's a colony level as well, which you can increase, which will increase your population cap and some other things as well. Will also make your citizens more demanding though, so they will use up more resources and their morale will drop faster. And in order to upgrade your colony, you need those white influence things, which you gain. Yeah, you gain them somehow. I forgot how it works actually. I think over the reputation thingy. You're gonna see that in a moment as well. And then you can upgrade that, and you can, as I said, unlock those other platforms. And as you can see, there's a lot of building space here. So yeah, more things. So you can put down a lot of buildings there as well and build up your colony. And then there is the relationship thingy with the corporations. So we have different relationships to different corporations, and we have reputation with them, and we can trade that reputation for influence, and then we can use the influence to buy things on the market or unlock technology. No, actually not unlocking technologies. I think influence is only used for buying things in the market. Yeah, I think. Then there are policies and threats and drones as well, and more stuff. The market is separated into these different corporations as well. You have to you have to research the market first. So this one is locked, as you can see, and that is because I don't have this upgrade yet. Cosmos market, gain access to the Cosmos market, which actually requires a blue influence. Okay, good to know. So yeah, researching cost influence, right? Yeah, it does sometimes, not all the times, I think. So the market would allow us to buy things from the different corporations, and there are different categories here as well. As you can see, there are not too many items in here. I think that depends on the colony level, though. I think you will unlock more things later on. I'm not one, and by researching as well, I think. So yeah, this looks empty, but I don't think it will stay empty in the late game. So lots of different mechanics. There's also maintenance, by the way. You need maintenance to keep your buildings running, and I'm not sure what the comfort thing is about. I think it has something to do with morale, but I'm not 100% sure. Up here we have more overview over the population, over drones, which we don't have yet, over science and reputation. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that yet, right? So I mentioned multiple times now that you can get these documents, yellow documents, for example, right now. But in order to do so, you need innovation in that color first. So you can see here, there's in the science tab, there's innovation, and then multiple different numbers for different colors. In order to produce yellow documents, I need a number. I need 1 yellow innovation, and I gain yellow innovation by having buildings do things. So this building has a purple or magenta light bulb here, which means it produces purple innovation, and other buildings have other colors. That was the same building. So we have green innovation producing in the recycling plant, and then I can use that innovation to produce those documents, which I then can use to get blueprints or research stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, layers over layers of mechanics. It's pretty crazy. This is the inventory, by the way. I think I showed it a little bit earlier. A lot of different thingies. Then there are quests as well. I actually have 2 quests right now. Apparently I got one at the beginning of the video. So this guy wants me to build the Echo Corporation building, which I have to unlock first. So I have to research that and then build the building, which requires pretty advanced resources. So that's not my current goal, actually. Then we have another one. Technically 27 days. We're supposed to create a lot of water. Okay, that will give us reputation as a reward. Okay, so there are different missions that will guide you a little bit through the game as well. That's actually an important point. Let's talk about that. So there is a tutorial in the game. When I covered this game a few years ago, the tutorial was terrible. Nowadays it's a little better. So I played the tutorial and got familiar with the basic mechanics and figured most of the stuff out. There's also like one specific mission, like a campaign. Let's actually go to main menu. Let's just talk about that there. Exit to menu. So there's a tutorial, which is 6 different chapters. They're pretty slow paced and super handholdy, so they're not fun to play, but they cover the mechanics fairly well. So they work well, but they're not fun to do. And then there's the campaign button, which is, I think originally there was planned to be multiple campaigns or longer campaigns or whatever. And the developer never ended up actually putting them in the game before releasing. So we only have one campaign right now, which takes about an hour to play through, and it's just basically an advanced tutorial. Like, basically the end goal is to unlock the first part of the outer ring, and at that point the game will just end and congratulate you to completing the campaign. So playing through that is actually the first fun thing you do, because as I mentioned, the tutorial was not that fun, and it introduces you to the world or to the game fairly well. And then when you do new game, which is the main game mode, you gain quests from time to time, as you saw, and those will actually guide you through the game as well. And also the game will give you hints from time to time, contextually, which also helps. So the quests, basically, they don't really teach you how to do things, but they point you in a direction. Like they say, hey, can you build this building, please? And then you check out the building and you see, okay, I need these resources, and you figure out how to get those resources, and stuff like that. And there was a quest that required me to get a population of 30, and that required me to do other things first to get that, to make that work. And so the quests guide you by pointing you in the right direction, or in a new direction, to discover more mechanics and more stuff, and therefore you're not completely left alone on this. But there's no proper campaign or anything in this. There's just this custom game mode, basically, where you can choose an affinity at the beginning, or you can go neutral, and that this will give you different starting tags and different missions as well, or quests. Wow, this is getting pretty loud right now. Let me fix that really quick. I hope that's fine in the video. And you can change the outfit of your colonists, as you can see here, and you can change the difficulty and your starting resources. So you can change a lot of things here, actually, which is quite interesting. If you played this game for a while, you can fool around with your starting resources and things like that, and set a few modifiers for the game, and yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed that there's no proper campaign. I think I would be motivated to play more if there would be a campaign, actually. I'm just not the guy who plays custom games. That's just not a thing I do usually. Like, I did it a little bit here, especially because the custom games have a little guidance, as I mentioned, with the quests, so it kind of works. But still, I will not continue playing this. Not because it's a terrible game, but it's just not, like, I'm not super into it. I'm not the perfect target audience for this. And there's, yeah, as I said, the lack of the proper campaign really borrows it for me. So yeah, I would have liked to see that, like a proper campaign with a story, preferably, as well, that guides you through it and unlocks mechanics on the way and introduces you to new things step by step. That would be great. Like with different missions and goals, and not just like one open-ended build this mega colony thingy. But yeah, that's kind of not. I guess that's not really the scope of the game either. Like that was not the goal, because like if you have multiple short missions, then like the game takes a while to play out. Like building a big colony takes a long time. So I don't know. Maybe you could persist the colony between different campaign missions or something along those, and just have different goals or something along those lines. Not sure. But it's not working for me that well. But overall, it's a decent game. It's super complex. It's not actually that complicated. It's just a lot of mechanics, and they all are interfering with each other. Like they're not separate mechanics. They all work, like they're all interchange thingies, and like you require the reputation from the corporations to get things in the market. You need it for the research thingies, and you need the research to build buildings and stuff like that. Like they're all interconnected. All the mechanics are interconnected except for the blueprints, which are a little bit superficial, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, so the gameplay is very niche, but I think there are a few people who will really enjoy this. Mechanically speaking, the game is pretty decent. Like it runs pretty well. The options menu is pretty extensive as well. We're lacking a borderless window mode, unfortunately, but besides that, we have fairly decent options. Graphic options are actually a little bit lacking. Like we have presets, but not really like detailed options here, which is a little unfortunate. But we can turn on and off anti-aliasing and change the resolution, so that's important. We have a lot of different separate sound sliders, which is cool. We have options for the camera movement, so that's good as well. And you can change the language and turn off autosaving if you want to. Some interface thingies here as well. And in the main menu, there are 2 option points here as well. It's a little. The UI is not perfect in this game. It's not, I actually didn't show you that. Let me get into the game really quick. The UI actually works fairly well for the most part. It's not super intuitive, but it has a lot of shortcuts, which is pretty cool. So, for example, we can press F2, which opens up this resource menu. I'm not sure if there's a button for this. If there is, I couldn't find it yet. I think you can only open this with F2 for some reason, but I'm not 100% sure. And now I can choose something from somewhere. I could take something from my inventory or from the market or from somewhere, like from one of those building thingies, and just drag it in here. And that will show me how to actually produce that material. It shows me what building to build and what blueprints I need and what materials I need, and then I can actually choose press this button, which will open up the building menu for the building I need to build this, and things like that. So there are a lot of shortcuts. So you can either get the colonists from here and awake them and then put them in there from this menu, for example, or you can just open these building thingies and get a colonist. Let's do that really quick to demonstrate. Oh, this is actually an autosave. I think I opened the autosave. And now I could awake him and then get him from the other menu, or I can just drag him in here and put him in this menu, or like I can either drag him here and he will be here and then I can connect him, or I can put him on this thing and it will automatically connect, which will not work here obviously because this building has a director already. But yeah, it actually is. Oh yeah, I can't get more colonists right now because my housing is lacking. Yeah, as I said, it's an older save I opened here. So there are a lot of shortcuts in the UI, which work quite well, but it's not super intuitive. Sometimes it requires a lot of different clicks because you have to open and close a lot of different windows, which is a little annoying, especially buildings. I don't know, like opening this and then choose a building. It kind of works, but oh yeah, I didn't mention templates yet, right? That's another mechanic here. You can create your own templates for a building. So I can say new building, and then I have different building blocks. Or new template, and then I have different building blocks, and I can put them in this blueprint, and that will change the resources this building takes, and also the benefit it gives, obviously, and the resource it requires to build. And then I can take this blueprint and try to put it somewhere. Like, it's not gonna work with this one, but you get the idea. So you can, for example, create a recycling plant that doesn't have that has multiple slots for recycling blueprints, but no slots for assembly blueprints, for example, if you prefer that, or maybe you just have twice the amount of blueprints by building a bigger template and stuff like that. So you have options there as well. To optimize space, which is obviously limited resources, so that's important as well. So yeah, another mechanic. lots of different mechanics in this game. As I said, overall I think the game is competent at what it does. For the most part, the mechanics work quite well. A few mechanics are a little weird. The interface is not super intuitive all the time. The menuing is a little annoying from time to time, but it's not game breaking. A lot of shortcuts, a lot of hotkeys as well, a lot of very useful tooltips everywhere. So that works quite well. But it's super niche. It's ridiculously niche. If you're into this kind of stuff, I think you will love this. But there will not be a lot of people who are into this, I fear. But yeah, I don't know. I like the aesthetics and the theme of the game. It's kind of cool with this colony on the water, like on the sea, post-apocalyptic stuff, sci-fi theme. I kind of like it. Like, it doesn't look super special or super interesting, but it looks decent. Kind of like it. So yeah, it's called Project Aura. I will put the link in the description below. It left early access after multiple years a few days ago. And yeah, check it out if you want. I'm TH Pine. Thanks all for watching. Have fun and see you next time.